Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm so happy to have you here. My name is Ranita and I like getting into beauty reviews. Today I'm doing a perfume review. This is the Aerin Amber Musk, which I was actually gifted and I've been using it for a few weeks now, and also comparing it to multiple other perfumes thanks to some friends who were very kind and allowed me to try out their perfume collection. I'm basically comparing the Amber Musk perfume to several other high-end ones. I think there's 5 of them, and there's another group which is the less than 50 range, which I thought would also be great to throw in here, simply because I really felt that not all of us can actually afford these really expensive perfumes. Hell, I can't afford them. I could only try these out because of my friends who actually were like, yeah, we're fine with this, because I've been looking for a way to get into perfume reviews and I've just found it very difficult because I'm like, I don't actually have access to as many of these things, as my friends do, or as other people in the community do. Like, I've seen people who have massive perfume collections and they're so well versed in everything and they know what they're talking about. And I thought, before I give my opinion on something like this, I would really like to test out some of these things as well. It was important for me to actually be able to do that. So now I've actually had that opportunity and I've been able to try them out and, get a feel of things. So I've got some notes. I've actually taken notes down and I'm going to be reading out some of the things, like the keynotes and stuff, because that's a little hard for me to remember off the top of my head for everything. But I will share my main thoughts on each and every perfume that I've tried, and I will also be telling you my final thoughts about the Aerin Amber Musk perfume. Is this actually worth getting, and is it perfect for fall, maybe? Let's begin with the star of today's video. So I've been testing this out, like I said, and I want to just go through the top notes and I'll tell you how I actually smelt it and how I felt. So the top notes here are coconut water, rose, centifolia, ambrose, benzoin, musk, and sandalwood. So you have all of these different things coming through. And I will say this, when I initially sprayed it and I was experiencing it and just, getting all of those smells coming through, I definitely smelled that coconut. Like I could smell that, and I really like that about this. And at the same time, it also reminded me of certain other things that I had tried, and I was like, ooh, okay, so I need to add those immediately to my list, because I was thinking, okay, this is definitely reminding me in some ways of those other ones. So anyway, this over here is definitely, it's not like a very intense, strong kind of perfume. This over here is more light. I felt like it had a very light aspect to it, where it just makes you feel like this is airy and you kind of feel like it's soft in a sense, the way that it makes you feel. And at the same time, when I was actually wearing this today, I kind of felt like this is a very nice way of kind of introducing yourself into fall. I felt like that was what it was. I felt like it was sweater weather perfume, just very cozy, very comfortable. Like, I could totally see myself wearing this on a couch, curled up with a book and just chilling, like in fall, because that's exactly what I was getting from this. I wore this at 12 o'clock and it is now currently 8 o'clock. So it has lasted me, like I can still get a very faint trace of this perfume on my hand. I don't feel like it's very strong, but I can definitely smell it. It's definitely still there. So I felt like the smell was definitely stronger, like about 2 hours ago. Like I felt like I was getting more of it because I was actually sitting here and I was working. So I do feel like this is a nice perfume that's actually going to last you, the whole day. But I would actually do a reapplication, like maybe around the 6-7 hour mark, depending on how your body actually absorbs this, because the best way to put perfume on is to obviously spray it in the areas where you have, more heat, because then it lasts longer. So because of that, I would say that it really depends on you and your body and just, where you're spraying it and how you're going about it. But for me, I put it on my wrist and I put it over here in the, the elbow. Usually I go for the pulse points and I just let it be. But I was smelling my wrists to get the, smell and to kind of see how long this was lasting. So anyway, yeah, I would say, best to reapply this at the 6 hour mark, because I have been noticing that this tends to fade away after about 6 hours or so. You can still smell it, but I think that it's just better, because then you get more of that smell here. Now, as for the sillage, I think that this is not, it's not like a heavy sillage. I would say that this is more in the medium range, simply because you still get that coming through, and you can definitely, you definitely get that trail, because the sillage is all about the perfume trail and whether you can actually smell that trail It's basically actually named after ships, how ships would, sail out of port and they'd leave that trail of water. So here when I'm saying it's medium, what I mean is that the trail of perfume is just lasting for not a very short time, but a medium time. I would say that this perfume here would be a great choice for anyone who doesn't want something that's extremely intense. I think that this is more on the subtle side, but I think that if you're still looking for a little bit of warmth, it's not extremely heaty. Like, it doesn't remind me of like, oh yeah, this is summer. Like, this is definitely not that kind of scent. But I feel like it's a bit more subtle in that way, and it's a bit soft, and it's got that very comforting vibe. So I think if you're looking for that, this would be a really interesting option. But let me go into the comparisons first before we actually make our decision about like, what would be perfect for what, especially because this is a fall comparison thing. Now, interestingly enough, the first perfume that came to mind was actually one that I had already tried this year. So this is the Estee Lauder Bronze Goddess one, and I've already reviewed this. So this is, it's got bergamot, mandarin, lemon, the tiare flower, jasmine, magnolia petals, coconut, amber, sandalwood, vanilla, vetiver, and myrrh. So I actually really love this perfume. I think this is fantastic. It is wonderful for summer. This was screaming beach, like, just sunny days at the beach. Like, it's just so beautiful in that sense. It's very deep. It's very intense in a sense that you kind of feel like this would be so nice even for special occasions. I really feel like when I was wearing that. And it definitely kind of gives you that coconut as well, because I think that's probably what I felt. Like, I could get that, a little bit of that amber coming through as well, because like this is Amber Musk. And then when I was kind of wearing, like when I was wearing this one, I started thinking about Bronze Goddess. I was like, there's something familiar here. So I'm wondering if it's the coconut that came through, because I can definitely smell, all of those things when I'm wearing Bronze Goddess as well. And you definitely get that amber coming through, and just that freshness coming through from the mandarins, and all of that. I definitely could get all of those smells when I was actually wearing this. Now, I will say that Bronze Goddess lasted me for about the same amount of time. I think this is about 6 hours when I was actually wearing it, like, because I've been wearing it on and off now, like with a lot of different perfumes. So my average time over here, according to my chart, was about 6 hours. I think that Bronze Goddess has a stronger sillage in comparison to Amber Musk over there by Aerin, simply because my hand's hurting. It's too heavy to keep holding these, but yeah, I feel that the trail is definitely stronger. And I did get that even when I was using Bronze Goddess. It is more intense in that way. And I love that about it, though. I think it's a fantastic perfume for summer. Really just gets that heat, you really feel the heat with Bronze Goddess. It's one of my favorite perfumes. Like, I grew to like it. When I first sprayed it, I was like, is this me? And then I wasn't really sure. And then the more I tried it, the more I started thinking, wow, this really reminds me of spices. It reminds me of India in a way, which I really like. So I kind of feel like it's been made for like all of these, like all the Indian ladies who love perfumes. Basically with Aerin, the Amber Musk one, I kind of feel like this, the main feel that I was getting from this is the subtlety of it. I feel that it's more about comfort. It's more about just being cozy. Like I said, sweater weather. It really just encapsulates the entire feel of that for me. Or maybe it could even be good for, like a night when you're wanting to enjoy hot chocolate or something, and it's a very cold night. And it's more subtle in that sense, but I do like it because of that subtlety. It's not, not everything needs to be super intense. Now, on the other hand, Bronze Goddess, when I was trying that, it definitely gave off that very exotic, tropical kind of vibe. That's exactly why I could relate to it so much, because I was thinking about where I come from, India. Exotic, spicy, all the heat, it was just everything, it just fit into Bronze Goddess so well in that way. So it's definitely more fresh in a sense, and at the same time it's just all about the sun. That's Bronze Goddess to me. Like, all I could think about was the sun, the oranges, the coconut coming through. All of those different things were coming through from that particular thing. Amber Musk, I think, is very subtle, so I could end up wearing it in maybe spring. Like, technically now we're leaving summer and we're going into autumn, but I was wearing it in, a little bit of summer, like the end of summer, and I didn't mind it as much because of that subtlety. I definitely don't think that I would be wearing Bronze Goddess during the winter months. I don't see it as a winter scent. I feel like it's just reeking of summer. and it's just a gorgeous, beautiful summer perfume. Like I could not see myself wearing this in winter months at all. So I think for me, it's more of a season specific perfume to me. And Amber Musk, on the other hand, is more, I think I could wear it. Like I would like to just keep it to fall and winter and just like cozy moments, comfortable moments, I think. But if I had to, I think I could possibly do this in spring too. I don't know if I would wear it in summer, but I think that it kind of, yeah, maybe the colder months, that's what Amber Musk kind of feels like to me. So now I want to get into some of the more luxurious perfumes that I actually had the opportunity to try. And I don't own these fragrances. I only got them because, you know, I have friends who are really sweet and they were willing to actually share their collections with me. And that's honestly the only reason I decided to do this review, because I was like, hey, if I have access to that, then me as well. So let me give you my thoughts on this. So first of all, the Tom Ford Soleil Blanc perfume is definitely kind of similar in a way, I think, to Estee Lauder's Bronze Goddess. It definitely kind of came up because I was thinking of, you know, Bronze Goddess, and then I thought about that one as well when I was trying it out, and I was like, okay, these kind of do feel pretty similar in some ways. And then when I was reading up on the key fragrance notes and everything, I actually found out that they actually have quite a few similar notes. So they've got bergamot, that's one, they've got jasmine, that's both of them, and then of course there's the coconut and the amber, but they still give off very different feels. And of course there's that element of luxury which comes in with Tom Ford. You just feel like this is a step above. It is a luxury perfume. It is intense. It has a strong sillage, meaning that, you know, you don't really need to reapply this. This is like a one-time application thing. It'll last the whole day, unless of course you want to be smelling like, you know, Tom Ford for like the entire day. Because I mean, I'm kind of looking at a whole day as about 8 hours, yeah, because you're going to work for 8 hours and then you come back and you may not need to be wearing perfume after that. So the way I see it, it's really just like that one-time application. I honestly could smell the perfume on me after 9 hours of wear, and I was just like, this is fantastic. It is absolutely fantastic. And I definitely was disappointed when I realized how expensive this is, but it's totally worth it, and I can completely understand why it's being priced so high. If I'm not mistaken, 100 ml is about 400 plus. So this is a really, really expensive perfume, which I would never have been able to purchase on my own because price point is crazy high. But it is so good. So it has that very luxurious, intense thing going on. It's actually comforting as well, and it's got a very tropical flair to it, but at the same time it's not subtle. I would say that the Soleil Blanc one is definitely a more opulent, exotic and special fragrance that definitely has you know, a trail to it. Like, you're definitely going to turn heads with that one. I definitely believe that. The Aerin one, on the other hand, I think is more intimate. It kind of stays with you in a sense. It's not as intense, you know, as the Tom Ford one. That's the best way I can put it. And the other things with the Tom Ford one, which I really liked, reapplication, you really don't have to do that at all. It really lasts the whole day. The Amber Musk one, you would have to reapply it probably in your 6th hour or so, maybe earlier, depending on the climate, depending on, you know, how you know, you're doing things, if you're working out and stuff. Like, it really depends on the situation. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention is that, again, Amber Musk came across as more for everyday wear. So, you know, this is kind of winning at the moment for, you know, a perfume. If you're looking for something for everyday wear, then Amber Musk is definitely the one that's winning. This perfume is called Byredo Gypsy Water. This was a completely brand new, you know, scent for me. Never tried this out, but my friend recommended it, and I'm so glad that I got to try this out. It is also a very expensive perfume. Why does everything nice have to be expensive? Okay, so this over here, according to their website, I just want to read it out to you, and I want to tell you the notes as well. So this is actually an ode to the beauty of Romani culture and its unique customs, intimate beliefs, and distinguished way of living. It says the scent wakens a dream of colorful lifestyle made of innate nomadism. So you've got woody notes of pine needle, sandalwood associated to intense amber, fresh citrus, and all of this evokes the fever of gypsy nights spent in the forest. You honestly get that feel from this perfume, but let me tell you the notes first before I actually share my thoughts on it. So this one over here has bergamot, lemon, pepper, juniper berries, incense, the pine needles as mentioned. It's got amber, vanilla, sandalwood. So you can already see that there are definitely some similarities here with the Aerin Amber Musk, and of course there are definitely some differences here too, which I definitely want to touch on. So over here, This perfume lasted about the same time for me, I think, as Aerin's Amber Musk. So that was one similarity I noticed. I kind of feel like I would definitely be reapplying this one after about like 6-7 hours or so. It's not as strong to me as the Tom Ford one, which I tried. That was by far the strongest out of everything that I've actually tried. The sillage was very, very strong in comparison to all of the ones that I'm mentioning here, and I did not have to reapply that. But this one, you definitely would have to reapply within like 5 to 6 hours. So the main difference here for me with Amber Musk was the fact that this has a very woody kind of feel to it. And I think that's because of the pine needles. You really get that beautiful smell coming through that makes you think that you're a nomad. It's just kind of, I don't really know how to explain it to you. It really feels like you're just out there and you're free. And it just feels very vibrant in a sense. I really enjoyed using that perfume. It feels so fresh, and I absolutely love perfumes that have that very fresh thing going on about them. So when I actually got the chance to try this one, it became a favorite very quickly. Like, I actually really liked the way that it was smelling. I feel that the Amber Musk one definitely has more of that musk coming through, which this one didn't really have as much as Amber Musk. And that was one of the main differences for me that I actually noticed. Another point that I want to make is that the Gypsy Water perfume is so fresh that I don't think I would use this as a evening scent. I think that this would actually be more suited for daytime wear, simply because I would love to wake up and just wear that. It's just so nice and so wonderful. But the application time, I would say, is pretty much the same as Amber Musk, because I found myself wanting to reapply within like 6-7 hours or so. So, you know, in that way, they're the same. And Amber Musk is winning because Amber Musk, I think, is slightly cheaper. Because if I'm not mistaken, the Gypsy Water one, according to my notes over here, yeah, so the 50 ml is $225 for 50 ml, but for the Amber Musk 50 ml is $130. The reason I wanted to compare the two though is because I just felt that they had similar notes in some ways. You know, I could definitely see that this is also similar to the other two that I mentioned, because I saw bergamot there, and I definitely saw the amber coming through as well. And I think, if I'm not, because I'm looking at so many different perfumes, so I need to keep going back and forth, but essentially, yeah, Estee Lauder's Bronze Goddess also has sandalwood. So I kind of felt like when I was trying all these out, I really was just getting, you know, similarities, and everything that I felt was pretty similar, I ended up grouping it together and thinking, okay, this may be good to mention in the video. Now, the other one that I mentioned is actually a sample that I had. So this is Jo Malone. I'm actually getting more samples that are going to be coming, so I'll be sharing my review on that too. This was the Myrrh and Tonka one. So I decided to mention this one because I felt like it reminded me in some ways of the Aerin Musk one in the feel that I was getting from it. Because when I was looking at the Amber Musk one, I told you, right, it's very sweater weather. It gives a very comforting, very cozy kind of feel to it. And my preference would be to only wear this like during the colder months. And I kind of felt like this Myrrh and Tonka thing also had a very comforting, cozy thing going on about it. But I will tell you that it is definitely different, because here, I think I know why it was so comforting. The main thing here was the lavender smell that was coming from this. And it's also got myrrh, and then it's got tonka bean, vanilla, and almond. I actually think that the the lavender was probably what made it so comforting, because my grandmother used to wear lavender all the time, and you know, she's passed now, but anything that I smell with lavender becomes very comforting for me instantly, because my grandmother used to love that smell. So every time I smell lavender, I think of her, and this was just kind of reminding me in some ways of that. The Myrrh and Tonka perfume is definitely a richer perfume. I would say that it's got a lot more depth to it when you're actually smelling it, but I love that about it. I think that was fantastic. And I think that it's also a little bit sweeter in a sense. Yeah, I think it's definitely sweeter than the Amber Musk perfume that I actually tried. I feel like this perfume is actually more light. Remember, I was talking about how subtle it is. So this is actually on the lighter side because of that. Now, I would say that the Jo Malone perfume, that's the Myrrh one, Myrrh and Tonka, this one definitely lasts longer than the Amber Musk perfume. And I think that both of them could be fantastic for wearing in the evening, simply because they both have that cozy, comforting thing going on. But I also think that because Amber Musk is more subtle, I think that that could also be, you know, okay, like you could also wear that during the day. I feel like it is slightly stronger to me than the Amber Musk perfume. And the price of this over here is, so this is for 100 ml, it's 228. So it kind of feels like the 50 ml is 160. I'm just looking at their website because I wanted to make sure that I'm getting all of this correct. The Amber Musk perfume is $130 for 50 ml. So I kind of feel that the Amber Musk one is definitely on the cheaper side, yeah, even in comparison to the Jo Malone thing. But at the same time, you would need to reapply both. So I kind of feel like if I had to go between the Jo Malone one and the Amber Musk one, it's a little difficult for me because I do feel like this is quite different from the others that I mentioned, like Bronze Goddess, Tom Ford, and then, you know, the Byredo Gypsy Water one. So I feel like they're quite different. And I think that because of the price point, for me, I would probably go for Aerin's Amber Musk, simply because, you know, it has a kind of similar wear time, like to quite a few of these. The only exception for me would be the Tom Ford one. So I'm kind of like, why pay more, you know, if I can get the same wear time for a little bit less. So that's just what I would be doing. But I do have one more thing that I want to compare it to. Okay, so this is the last perfume. I actually got the pricing mixed up here because I said that Tom Ford was the most expensive one, but it's actually not. This is actually the most expensive one that I got to try. Now this one is the Baccarat Rouge 541, and oh my goodness, this perfume is, it's really something. I think I understand why it's so popular and why several other brands have actually tried to come up, you know, and recreate the smells and everything, like Alt, and if I'm not mistaken, Okja has also kind of come up with something similar, which I haven't tried those yet though. So anyway, here the main notes are saffron and jasmine. You also have amberwood, ambergris, and then there's some fir, resin, and cedar here. So there's a very woody thing going on about this, and at the same time it's floral and it's sweet and spicy, and it really is a very, very bold scent in comparison to Aerin's Amber Musk. But the reason I wanted to compare the two is because in the midst of all of this, there's also something very comforting and cozy about that scent. So let me just break it down for you in the way that I broke down the other one. So here I would say that this perfume is amazing in terms of, you know, like you spray it and everybody's going to know that you're wearing it. So it definitely leaves a trail, and you know, this is something where people will definitely turn their heads as well. Similar to the Tom Ford one, you will know, like people will know that you're wearing this perfume, and they will probably form an impression on you, like they will probably form an impression of you based on that perfume. So it's very daring, very bold, very out there, and I think very adventurous in a sense if you're actually wearing something like this. And it will actually last in the room too, because I was actually quite shocked when I actually tried this. I was thinking, wow, this is really, really strong. I actually used to wear a perfume that was so strong, and I don't even know what it was called. It was a Middle Eastern one that my grandmother got for me from the Holy Lands when she had gone on like a, you know, a trip there with my aunts. And that perfume had a very strong sillage as well, because people could smell me before they saw me, and like I would be like, oh, like, you know, you knew I was coming. They'd be like, yeah, because we could smell you. That's how strong it was. And this perfume honestly reminded me in some ways of that. It's very, very strong, and it can even stay, like it kind of like, because I remember we had gone out for the day and we came back and the whole house still smelled of this perfume, which was just crazy to me. I was like, oh, okay, like I literally just scented the entire house with this. So this is a very, very intense perfume here, and of course this is reflected in the price. So let me just tell you the price of this, because I have it right here. So this perfume is, if you're going to get like just 2.4 fluid ounces, it's $335, and if you're gonna get the 6.8 fluid ounces, right? So I was wrong about the Tom Ford and the Baccarat Rouge one. I was getting confused between the ml and the fluid ounces, but basically it is, I was right. What I said before was correct. Tom Ford is the most expensive one that I actually got to try, and the Baccarat Rouge one is actually cheaper, because for about 200 ml you're paying $665. For Tom Ford you have to pay $890 for 250 ml, so it's a significant price difference. And the truth is, if you want something really bold and daring and that's actually going to last for a much longer period of time, it's definitely the Baccarat Rouge one, and that's probably the reason why it's so popular, and you know, so many people are trying to replicate that. But anyway, coming back to my comparison here of the Aerin Amber Musk with this, I basically feel that the reason I wanted to compare these two is mostly because of that cozy, comfortable feeling that I was getting. But of course it is different as well, because you know, this is Amber Musk is definitely more subtle. The main difference for me between these two fragrances would be that the Amber Musk one is not woody. Like, I don't see this as a woody smell at all. I do think that the Baccarat Rouge one is more of like this woody smell coming through. And of course, you know, this is a luxury perfume. Like, I mean, Aerin Amber Musk is also expensive. For me, I consider 50 ml, if you're spending $150 on a perfume, 50 ml, it is expensive. The initial things that I actually smelled from Baccarat Rouge were definitely the woodiness coming through over here. You get this very deep kind of sensual thing happening as well. And I also know that this has a sweetness to it, but it's not like a normal sweetness. I feel like it's kind of like something that's burnt. And when I was looking at the notes, I know that this does have sugar in it. It's got saffron. Now, I cook with saffron all the time. It's one of my favorite spices for foods, and saffron does have a sweetness to it as well. So you get a bit of that woodiness, and then there's sweetness, a little bit maybe of subdued spices maybe. Like, I can't really exactly put my finger on it. I think that if you have a lot of Middle Eastern fragrances, if you're more familiar with that, Baccarat Rouge can kind of feel sometimes like it's giving off a similar vibe to those kinds of perfumes. And I know for a fact that Baccarat Rouge is sometimes compared a lot to Cloud Ariana Grande. When I was smelling that perfume Cloud, I didn't really like Cloud as much. I feel like it's a lot sweeter, and you know, I wore it the whole day and I kind of felt like it kind of dissipated, you know, within maybe 5 hours or so of wear, 5 to 6 hours, kind of like Aerin Amber Musk, you know, around that time period, really depending on how you wear it. Sometimes I spray it into my clothes, and you know, clothes make perfumes last a lot longer. But with Baccarat Rouge, I definitely felt like the stay time, the stillage, all of that, it's so much stronger and it's so much more intense, and you just have like this sense of luxury, sensuality coming through from it that makes it kind of a lot better than, you know, the other perfumes that I'm comparing it to right now. And of course, it's definitely very different to Aerin Amber Musk Baccarat Rouge. I felt that was more woody, and you know, you get that sweetness coming through and stuff. And I don't feel like Aerin Amber Musk has a sweetness to it at all. I feel it's more subtle. So it's just, you know, huge differences here between these two fragrances. So now let's come into some of the cheaper fragrances that I actually compared to Aerin's Amber Musk. I have 4 of them for you, and I'd like to break them down. So these, just bear in mind that these don't have like as much of a sillage as the other higher end ones that we just discussed, because those ones really lasted for a long time. These ones you definitely have to reapply. So I want to start off with Lavanila Pure Vanilla. Even though this is more of a vanilla kind of, you know, smell, I felt that it was kind of similar in a sense, because they both felt very comforting. I don't necessarily love vanilla all the time. I feel like it's an okay smell. You definitely get that sweetness coming through and everything, even with the Pure Vanilla one. But I did kind of like this. I thought it was quite nice. I think that this was, you know, pretty much like an everyday smell if you're into the sweetness of it. And the difference for me between the, you know, Amber Musk and the vanilla one is really just that muskiness coming through. I felt like Amber Musk was definitely different. This is more musky, and that's where you get that coziness and comfort, you know, that sense of comfort from. So that was the main thing for me. The notes for the Pure Vanilla one are freesia, heliotrope, tonka bean, Madagascar vanilla, and sandalwood. Now I will say that this didn't really last a very long time for me. I think within 4 hours or so it was pretty much gone. And this is definitely something, like I said, that you will definitely have to like reapply again and again in order to kind of get that smell. I didn't feel like it left a very big like trail behind me, you know, like I didn't feel like it was extremely strong. So again, it's kind of more for your like body, like you can probably smell it like if, you know, someone's standing close to you kind of thing. It's not like the Tom Ford one, definitely not like the Baccarat Rouge one, so you definitely have to reapply this. Now of course, another main difference that I would like to point out is that in comparison, I would say that this Amber Musk perfume is definitely a lot more luxurious. Now let's talk about the price point for the Lavanila one. So this over here is $48 for 1.7 fluid ounces, so that's actually 50 ml, and obviously Aerin is 3 times the price, but you do get what you pay for because this definitely lasts a lot longer. So at the end of the day, it really just comes down to, you know, yeah, would you want to just keep spraying yourself? And you know, it's all about preferences. Okay, so this one you may be a little bit more familiar with. This is the Pacifica Island Vanilla you know, spray. So this is also definitely on the cheaper side. I've seen this in the 20s range, like you can get this between $20 and $27 depending on where you go and look. So both of them actually give you that very comforting warmth, you know, that comes through when you're wearing both of the perfumes. I will say that Aerin definitely wears better, because I said over here that with Aerin I only had to, like, you probably only need to reapply this like after 6-7 hours, which is pretty much what I was doing. Sometimes I would just let it go to 8, and now it's, you know, it's weird because I can still smell it here, but I'm pretty sure if I go out, like, my husband will not be able to smell anything because now it's like, yeah, it's been some time. So anyway, coming back to this, so the difference here for me was the fact that when I'm talking about Pacifica Island Vanilla, that coconut smell is definitely coming through a lot more, but it comes through with fruitiness, and you definitely don't get that with Aerin, because with Aerin you have more of the amber coming through. So that actually is the most prominent difference that I could get when I was actually smelling it. Now this obviously is you know, on the cheaper end, so again, you get what you pay for. It definitely doesn't last as long, and the sillage is definitely not that much as well. I feel that it fades actually pretty fast when I was wearing it, and I did have to keep reapplying, so it kind of gave off like body mist, you know, like vibes to me. So I was like, okay, but yeah, if you want to just continue reapplying that every few hours and stuff, then you know, you can make that last for longer. So that was the one thing that I definitely noticed over here. But I do feel like this would also be, it's a pretty nice smell, and I think that you could use that for like every day if you wanted to. Like, I wouldn't see any problem with wearing, you know, the Island Vanilla spray every day. So you could use it day or night. Right, so we've looked at higher end perfumes, we've looked at a couple of lower end ones as well that I felt were similar, and I just want to give you my overall feedback now on the Amber Musk and why I feel like this is really just fantastic in terms of being, you know, the best option really, I think, all in all. But I do want to mention that if you have more money, I do think that you would probably really enjoy the Baccarat Rouge one, just because, you know, to me, the way that the perfume lasts, I feel like that meshed really well with my personality as well. So I kind of felt that if I could, I would have actually loved to have gotten the Baccarat Rouge one. I feel that Aerin's Amber Musk is a nice all-rounded perfume though. It definitely doesn't have the sillage that, you know, Baccarat Rouge has, but it has that subtlety, and I feel that you could wear it for multiple occasions. It's cozy, it's comforting, it gives off a vibe of, you know, warmth when it comes to the way that it's just smelling on you. And I like the fact that, you know, you don't have to reapply as much as some of the other scents that I was talking about. So I just think that this particular perfume is such a good one, because this is also, Amber Musk is a good perfume to invest in, because this is also kind of a luxury perfume, you know. It's $150 for 50 ml. I would definitely consider that luxury, but it's just the fact that you're getting a little bit more with this, and you don't have to pay, you know, an even more exorbitant price, like for example with the Tom Ford one or with Baccarat Rouge. So I kind of feel like this was kind of smack in the middle of the luxury as well as the comfort, and it also had good wear time, and it was subtle, and it was good for a variety of occasions, I think. A variety of seasons, as I had broken down before, and that's one of the reasons why I felt like this would be a really, really nice perfume for, you know, just a lot of occasions. And that's probably the one reason why this actually ended up being such a good perfume for me. Right, so at the end of the day, I would say that I'm definitely a fan of the Amber Musk perfume. After, you know, being able to try out all these other things, I think that this would probably be the best one for me, simply because the wear time is definitely, you know, a plus point for me. And then the way that it makes me feel, the comfort, the sillage, all of that, like I had to take all of these things into consideration when deciding that the Amber Musk perfume is actually a wonderful perfume for fall, but it's also just for every day, I think. It doesn't necessarily have to be fall. I was just thinking about fall because of the way that it's just so comfortable and cozy, and, you know, we're coming into fall, and that's when I was thinking, you know, how can I compare this perfume to like other ones and make a video where I say, that this is actually a really great choice, just if you are looking for something that's in the middle of everything. So let me know what you think. If you've tried this perfume and you have other comparisons that I've never tried before, I am definitely open to hearing about them. These are probably some of the more popular ones, and I'm hoping that as time goes by, I'm able to do more comparisons like this and just talk more about fall perfumes and stuff like that. But I had a lot of fun reviewing this, and hopefully you enjoyed it as well. So thank you for joining me for my very first comprehensive perfume review and breakdown, and of course comparisons, and I will see you soon for another video, and I hope that you're smelling great all throughout the week with all of these perfume recommendations. Bye bye.